Imagine picking up a product in a store, turning the box over, and realizing the price is clear, but the description is thin. That's the feeling around BW Industrial Holdings. The IPO terms are visible, but the business story is still light. So this preview starts with a simple habit. Don't just look at the price. BW Industrial Holdings is expected to trade under the ticker BWGC, the short stock market nickname people use to find it. This is the kind of IPO the Cursor Stocks is built to unpack, because a new listing shouldn't feel like a secret language. The central question is simple. What would have to be true for this IPO to make sense? An IPO is the moment a private company starts selling pieces of itself on the stock market. Those pieces are shares, tiny ownership claims on the business. Here, BW Industrial Holdings plans to offer 2.625 million shares, so the first thing a new investor sees is not the dream. It's the number of slices being sold. The everyday anchor here isn't a product you can point to on your desk. It's that same thin label on the box. With a familiar company, you can picture the customer and why money changes hands. With BW Industrial Holdings, the verified public picture is limited, so the first investing skill is patience. The expected price range is between $6 and $7 per share. Because the planned raise is about $18.4 million and the share count is 2.625 million, the implied expected price works out to about $7 a share. Since the offer is still pending, treat that as expected, not settled. That $18.4 million planned raise is small compared with the huge IPOs people hear about, but small doesn't automatically mean safe. Think of it like funding a workshop, not building a giant factory. A smaller raise can still matter if the company has a focused use for the cash, and that's what investors need to verify. Here's the catch. A final market cap is not set. Market cap means what the whole company is worth on the stock market at the IPO price. Without that price tag, you can't honestly say whether Wall Street is valuing BW Industrial Holdings like a tiny operator, a turnaround, or a much bigger future story. That missing valuation matters because price is only half the story. If you pay $7 for a share, you still need to know what the whole business is worth and what it earns. So the question comes back. Is this price describing the company today, or what investors hope it turns into? When a company goes public, the money can do a few things. It can fund the business, raise visibility, or eventually give early holders a path to sell. For BW Industrial Holdings, the useful question is not just how much money is raised, it's who receives the cash, and what problem that cash is meant to solve. The timeline is tight. As of this preview, the offer is pending, and the listing is set for June 29, 2026. That gives investors a short window to move from headline terms to real homework. In a thin label story, waiting for fuller detail isn't boring. It's part of the process. The bull case starts with possibility. A company with industrial holdings in its name may be asking investors to back assets, operations, or acquisitions in a practical business area. If management can turn IPO cash into growth, this small public market debut could become the first chapter of something larger. But that only works if the company shows what it actually owns, sells, or plans to buy. A name is not a business model. A business model is the money engine. Who pays the company, why they pay, and whether those payments can repeat without constantly needing fresh investor cash. This is where the thin label really matters. Revenue is the money coming in before expenses. Profit is what's left after the bills are paid. For BW Industrial Holdings, verified full-year revenue and profit figures are not available in the public profile, so the financial reality is still a blank space to fill. A blank space doesn't mean the company is bad. It means the burden of proof is higher. If you're new to investing, this is a useful habit. Don't let a ticker and a date make you feel informed. The job is to connect price, business, customers, and financials into one clear story. The bear case is easy to understand. If investors can't see the revenue, the profits, the customer base, or the use of proceeds, they have to price uncertainty. That doesn't always stop an IPO, but it changes the question from, is this exciting, to what evidence would make this believable? Competition is another missing piece. Every business has someone else trying to win the same customer money. Until BW Industrial Holdings clearly shows its market and rivals, it's hard to know whether it's entering a crowded field, buying neglected assets, or building something with a real edge. The valuation tension is unusually simple here because the valuation itself is not finalized. The raise is about $18.4 million, but the full company price tag is still not set, so investors can't yet compare the whole company against sales or profits. That comparison is where IPO stories usually become real. Lockup is another phrase that may come up later. It usually means a waiting period when early insiders can't sell their shares yet. For a new investor, the point is simple. After BWGC lists, watch whether new information shows the IPO money going into the business, or whether the story mostly helps earlier holders find an exit. After it lists, the first signals to watch are practical. Does the company explain its business clearly? Does it show revenue that can repeat? Does it disclose whether losses are shrinking or growing? And does the use of cash make sense for a company trying to become more valuable? The dream is that BW Industrial Holdings uses a small IPO to build something more valuable than the market currently understands. The doubt is that investors are being asked to move before enough of the story is visible. Both can be true at the same time, and that tension is what makes this IPO worth studying. So bring it back to the box with the thin label. You don't have to be scared of it, and you don't have to buy it. You just need to know what questions to ask. What does it sell? Who pays? How much cash comes in? And what could break? Follow the cursor stocks for IPO stories explained before they trade, especially the ones that don't arrive with an easy headline. If BWGC becomes clearer after listing, the same framework still works. Business, customers, numbers, risks, price. This video is for information and education only, not financial advice.